Hello again, Dr. Mashburn. And so this will be the last video of your tissue and skin unit. And so as we move through your course, I like to do something called system connections. And your textbook will include this as well, so you want to look at your system connections. But I want to make sure as we learn each one of these organ systems that we don't forget that our body works together. And so I want to briefly go over a couple of things. And again, you can find this in your textbook. And so, you don't have to, I'm not going to go over all of this, but I want to give you an idea of what you need to be thinking about. As you learn each organ system, you want to think about how does it relate to the other organ systems. And you'll have some questions on your exam because I want you guys to start critically thinking and assimilating your knowledge and putting things together. Don't just think of everything independently. A lot of people like to do this course and do a unit and then dump it and say, okay, I'm done with that. No, everything builds and we're going to keep adding and adding and adding. So we'll just go through a couple of these things. Again, there's more in your book. You need to look at it because you will have a question or two on your exam about system connections. How do we relate the skin to other organs? So let's talk about the skeletal system. We want to connect the skin and the skeleton. Okay, well, the skin is our outward protection, right? So our bones are below the skin, so the skin's protecting the bone. We also know that when UV light hits the skin, it starts that process of making vitamin D. Well, vitamin D is required for us to absorb calcium. Bones need calcium, okay? So you need that precursor, you need that vitamin D to help you make strong bones. What does the skeleton do for the skin? Well, it's our scaffolding. It supports the skin. What about muscles? Well, again, skin, most of the job of skin is going to be protection, okay, because it's our outermost layer. Protects those muscles. What do muscles do for skin? Well, as muscles contract, they generate heat, okay? That keeps your skin warm. Muscles, as you generate heat and you get hot, if you need to cool down, that's going to cause your sweat glands to turn on. Okay, so as you're exercising and your muscles are working, you're getting really, really hot, then you sweat. Okay, see how the two are related? Nervous system, again, protection. The skin protects the nervous system. Okay, it also contains receptors. Remember the Meissner's corpuscles and the Pacinian corpuscles. So the way we can feel and touch, those receptors are in our skin. Those are part of the nervous system. The nervous system will activate glands. So it activates sweat glands. So that's your muscles are generating heat. You're getting really, really hot. The nervous system tells those sweat glands to start producing oil. Okay. The nervous system will cause those erector pili muscles to contract. So you get goosebumps if you're too cold. It regulates how much blood flow is going to the skin. Do you flush? Do you get really, really red? Or do you send blood to your core and your skin gets really, really pale? The endocrine system, skin and endocrine. Well, skin protects your endocrine organs. They're inside your body, okay? It also works to convert some hormones. So some things like the vitamin D, there's some hormones that the skin also plays a role in getting some of your hormones activated. Your endocrine system activates your axillary hair growth and your apocrine sweat glands, okay? So when you get into adolescence, when you're a teenager and your estrogen and testosterone from your reproductive organs starts to kind of kick in, that's going to cause you to go to puberty, and you're going to get those stinky sweat and glands, your apocrine glands, and you're going to start to have pubic hair and underarm hair growth. Cardiovascular. Well, again, skin protects your cardiovascular organs, but it's also a reservoir for your blood. You store blood in your skin. Your cardiovascular system is going to transport oxygen and carbon dioxide to your skin. So it's going to take oxygen to your skin, bring carbon dioxide away from your skin, the waste products. It's going to bring nutrients to your skin and take waste products away. It also plays a role in skin color. Remember, if you're hot and your skin flushes, that's blood, that's part of your cardiovascular system. Lymphatics and immune. Again, skin protects those organs, right? But it's also a barrier. So it helps our lymphatics and immunes by blocking pathogens from entering into our body, okay? Lymphatics, when we talk about swelling, so if your tissue swells, the lymphatics help drain that fluid away. Your immune cells, white blood cells, they help protect the skin. Okay, so again, I'm just throwing some out. I want you to start, reading in your book and doing this on your own. Try to connect all your organ systems to each other. You don't know a lot about all your organ systems, but We're in that process of learning, okay? Respiratory, that's lungs, that's breathing, right? Well, skin protects your respiratory organs, but the little hairs in your nose, okay, that helps filter the air as it enters in as you breathe in. Your respiratory system supplies the oxygen that your skin needs. It removes the CO2 waste products that your skin produces. Your digestive system, again, skin protects the digestive organs. Again, go back to vitamin D. Vitamin D is needed to absorb calcium in the small intestine, which is part of the digestive system. Okay, so we need our skin to make vitamin D. Digestive system is going to absorb the nutrients that we need to have healthy skin. Remember, skin's going to be, you're going to need protein to make skin. Well, proteins are made out of amino acids, so where do you get those amino acids? From the food you eat. Okay, you need carbohydrates too to make the ATP. So again, you've got to have digestive system to bring those nutrients in. Urinary system, protection again. Urinary is protected by the skin. The skin also can excrete. It's one of our excretory organs, so we get rid of salts and nitrogenous waste that way. Our kidneys, remember that vitamin D we've been talking about? Well, as it goes through the process of being made, the kidney actually plays a role in vitamin D production. Okay, so the skin started it with the UV radiation, started the vitamin D. The kidneys will continue making the vitamin D so that you can then absorb calcium from the small intestine. So, now we've tied the skin, the kidney, the small intestine together. The whole point of having vitamin D is to get calcium so that our bones are healthy. Okay, and actually calcium also is very important for muscle contraction. Didn't know that, did you? Yeah. Calcium is also very important for nervous system conduction. Okay, so for your nerves to do their thing, you need calcium. So see how we're tying these organs together? Yeah, so the last but not least, reproductive. Again, skin protects the reproductive organs. Some of your glands, your modified sweat glands, actually make milk. Those are your mammary glands. Your skin stretches when you're pregnant, okay, to accommodate the increasing size of the baby. During reproductive, you may actually see skin changes. A lot of women, they'll get melasma. Their skin they'll get like a pregnancy mask, or they'll get a dark line on their abdomen. So again, as you're going through each of these units, look in your system connections. I'll do something like this for each of our units, but I want you to start tying them together, because you will have some questions on the exam saying, okay, we just learned about this system. How does it relate to the other ones? Okay, so a little bit of knowledge. We're going to keep adding to that knowledge in each unit. All right, the last thing I wanted to cover is just as a reminder. Again, we can't just dump the things that we learned earlier. When we talked about burns, we said the big danger with burns is loss of fluid and electrolytes. And so we want to make sure we're balancing our water. So just as a reminder, we've already talked about this, but I don't want to make sure that you're bringing this forward, because this is something that's really important. Our water balance requires that what we take in equals what we put out. So intake's got to equal output, which is about 2.5 liters a day. Okay, so we take our water in through what we drink, our food, and what we produce ourselves, our metabolic water. Okay, remember when you make ATP, one of the byproducts of respiration is the making of water, and then we have to get rid of it somehow, and so we use urine. It loses it through our skin, and we also have sweat and feces. All right, so when we talk about a burn victim. Okay, so they've got all that 3 layers of all that's damaged, and so you don't have this outer protective layer. That insensible water loss is going to increase. So they're going to be losing lots and lots of water, okay, because they don't have that protective epidermis anymore, that waxy substance to hold the water in. All right, so I'm just trying to get you guys to make some connections. You'll have a burn case study that you'll also be able to use to help you learn these concepts. So again, just a visual, this is water in, where it comes from. This is water out. I know some of you guys are visual learners, and so you'd like to see it put in a different perspective. All right, so what makes our body fluids? If we're trying to balance body fluids, number 1, water. Okay, and the reason we need water is that universal solvent. All of our stuff occurs in water. It allows us to regulate our temperature. So go back, think about why is water important. Okay, what's in the water? You have your solutes, your non-electrolytes and your electrolytes. You have your non-electrolytes, the things that don't dissolve in water, like glucose and fats. Your electrolytes, like sodium, chloride, potassium. Remembering all this? You need to keep thinking about it because we're going to talk about it. You're going to think about it when you do your burn case study. Your electrolytes, again, are your sodium, potassium, chloride, the things that dissolve in water. You need to remember where you expect to find those electrolytes. You remember that you have more sodium outside the cell than inside the cell. More potassium inside the cell than outside the cell. Make sure you remember this, because this is we'll come to this several times throughout the semester and next semester as well. Don't forget why we need sodium. Why is sodium even important? It's the most abundant cation, positive ion, in your extracellular fluid. Okay. Anywhere that sodium goes, water follows. All right. So any changes in the amount of sodium in your blood can have huge effects on the rest of your body. All right. So if sodium leaves, if sodium's leaving, water will follow. All right. So if you have a blood vessel and sodium's leaving your blood, the water is going to follow. Okay, and that's going to leave not enough blood in your blood vessels. That can cause low blood pressure. It can cause changes in plasma volume. All right, so I want you to start thinking about how balancing the amount of sodium will balance the amount of water and will also allow you to balance your blood pressure and your blood volume. So again, think about that burn victim who's losing lots of water, lots of sodium. What might be happening to their blood vessels? They're losing a lot of blood volume. They're going into shock. So water follows sodium. So if you don't have a way to regulate your sodium balance, if sodium's leaving, you're losing water, you can also be losing your blood pressure. Again, we're going to talk about this more as we move through all your different units in 201 and 202, but just kind of get you started now. All right, that's all I'm going to talk about. So do your burn case study if you haven't done it already, and I will see you for the next unit.